Welcome to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the book club and podcast with your hosts, Sarah, Kit, and Marianne, three friends who talk about all things books, food, and travel. Welcome, readers, eaters, and travelers to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the podcast and book club where books take us beyond the page. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Marianne. Today we'll be talking about the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't read the book yet. While we will be giving initial thoughts and ideas, eventually we will be spoiling the end.
But we'll let you know when we get to that point. So feel free to listen up until then, pause it, read the book or listen to the book, and then come back. And as always, we are adult readers who say adult things. There's really no adult content in this one, but I feel like purely based on excitement only.
I'll say our passion for this
words.
book.
Yes.
It's gonna happen.
There will be some words because we love it.
And there's a little bit of violence.
Yeah.
Okay, how about our initial reactions? Thinking way back to, when did you say this came out? 2011?
2011. Yes.
15 years or so ago, almost 14.
Yeah.
When this came out.
So I think we were all like immediately obsessed.
Yes.
A little bit. Like who, like,
well, it would have been after reading Shiver. The Shiver trilogy came out, and that was pretty hot. And I remember I feel like we did get this at NCTE.
I think you and I went to the NCTE
And I remember
table.
being like, oh my God, there's an art for her new book, and we're so excited.
We for sure made like 12 trips past the table because I was like, one for me, one for you. You're only allowed to take one. And then we were like, went back later and we're like, and one for Marianne, and one for Donna, and one for Georgia. And one for Danica. One for Kirsten. We're like, everyone needs their own copy. Because we used to sometimes like mail them around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We always did.
We knew because we were such big Maggie fans already. I think we knew like this was one that we each need our own copy. And we were.
Yes.
Well, I think it really spoke to you guys, especially because of the horse aspect. I think I like the Celtic aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, like the Celtic mythology. But for you guys, I think it was more the horses, and obviously for me, who's only ever been on a horse that I know of when we did that at Disney 15 years ago, whatever it was.
My gosh.
I forgot about that. We did go horseback riding.
There's probably a picture of that on our TikTok.
There is, I think. Yeah. Have a picture.
I think one of our first posts on TikTok was that.
You know,
notorious horseback riding picture.
Yeah. You know, for you guys who live and breathe horseback riding, and me, it was like, oh, look, I'm going on a horse. This is so exciting.
Well, I like hearing that you liked it so much. I mean, that you do like it, because I recommend this book to everybody. It is the first book.
Everybody.
And I'm like, I get that it's horses, but it's not about the horses. It is, but it's not.
It is, right.
And I love like when I recommend it to people, and then I think I'm just excited, probably more excited than they are, because I want to know what they think at the end, and I'm just like waiting, like
tell me.
You get like the ending is not what I expected, or like, oh my God, I love X, Y, and Z, or I hated you fucking mutt or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yes, all of that.
I know. I have so many copies of this that I've bought, and I've given them away to people.
Yeah.
See, I'm not quite that to that level, but I definitely loved it. And honestly, the audio made it really beautiful. I mean,
beautiful.
Yes. I mean, when the guy who does Sean's voice,
top notch.
Yes.
When I was reading it this time, because I've listened to it, I literally was his voice was in my head.
His voice, yes.
Puck's voice is good too, but there's something about his voice is just very
absolutely.
Yeah. And he switches over to the American accent.
He does that so well too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, God, it's so good.
Well, Steve.
But what I do think is, that's right. I do think is interesting about this too is we've talked about rereading books and like, do they hold up? Are they still a 5-star? This is a book I feel like gets better every year I read it.
Yes.
Like I catch something else where I'm like, God, how did I miss that? And I've long explain to people that I think Maggie writes like an adult for teen audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think her writing is really smart.
Yes,
absolutely.
And really,
like I don't want to say dumbed down, because I don't think YA dumbs it down necessarily, but her writing is so beautiful. It reads like a standard fiction book, but it is written for teenagers.
And I
Yeah,
think she layers things in so
Yes.
well that, like, when you read it
Yes.
on first blush, depending on, like, what your point of view is coming in, like, you
Yeah.
might read it, like, strictly as a horse book, or you might read it as a romance, or you might read it as a family drama. And then you read it again and you start, like, picking up on all these little things that start connecting together. And I read it
Mhm.
every single year.
well,
And
and
every year I'm like, "Ugh,
the other thing is, though, too, is when you listen to the author's note and she talks about all the instruments she plays, and they're all
Yes.
Celtic
Yeah.
instruments. So you know this book is near and dear to her heart because
yes,
that's what she is and what she loves. And I don't really, I agree that it's not like it's not a kid's book, especially when you
No.
think about the relationships and the danger in the races, and it's not a kid's book. It's definitely got those deeper layers.
But it's considered YA,
Absolutely, I mean,
you
because
know, which is that's
there's,
what's
like
crazy, and it's Scholastic published it
and it's
initially,
there's no
so
it's just I think it's YA because there's no spice, there's no,
yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
cursing, but there's
Yeah.
definitely deep themes in it.
oh, no."
Alright, so, do we dive into this plot for the next, I don't know, 3 hours?
Yeah, like, this outline is insane.
I know, I was like, "Wow, I'm so
I
I was
wish
prepared for
like,
this one."
yeah, I wish that, like,
where
the
can I write
audience
something to look like
I
I did
know.
something?
I got on last night to do this. I was just, like, sitting on my couch watching the hockey game, and usually when I'm working on the outlines, I've got the book in front of me, and I'm, like, checking different things off. I literally was just like, "Everything in my head, let's go." I just started, like, writing stuff down.
I had it all. I split screened it, and I've started watching Stranger Things again because the
Yep.
new season's coming out, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Alright, I'm gonna start from the beginning, binge
Yeah.
watch it now that the show's done and I have time," and so, I sat split screen, and I was like, typing,
Yeah.
looking up, and highlighting in my book, and I'm like, "I feel so
Yep.
prepared today."
Yeah.
So
Prepared and, like, ill prepared. Like, I was like, "Oh,
I
that's
know.
tomorrow." Good thing it's
I
this book
know.
that I read literally all the time. All right.
Oh, okay.
Woo, let's dive into some
Where do
plot
we
points.
start?
I think we gotta start just at the top of the list and hope for the
Okay.
best because we're
Okay.
gonna get distracted.
We are
Like, full stop. Apologies in
yes.
advance.
Yes. Okay, so the importance of traditions and community.
Yes. I think I think that's like the one of the pieces of this book that I like the most because what I feel like Maggie does really well is integrates all those like traditions, but she doesn't like I feel like this is going to sound not how I want it to sound. She doesn't explain them. She lets you just like experience them.
Figure it out,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, so whatever, like, she's not giving me a ton of backstory or like context. We just know this race happens every November. And then we kind of figure it out as the pieces unfold through the
Yeah.
story of how
Show
what
not
is the
sh
you show not tell.
show not
100%.
tell.
A
100%.
show not tell. Yeah,
And
for sure.
I that was probably one of the pieces that I didn't get as deep into like the first time I read it. Like at first blush I was like I just want to know everything about Puck and Sean and these horses. And then the more you read it, the more you start to pull these little threads like where, Dory Maud fits in to the community and what's the story about Malverne's? Because that's part there's like tradition and community tied in
Mhm.
there too. And how do those things play against each other? But it's layered in so well, but Maggie's not gonna just tell you what's
Right,
happening and how to read it. You gotta really
right.
like focus.
So, I'm curious, Marianne, because you have also been to Ireland, and you read Maggie's notes, and she said she's never specifically given this a place,
Mhm.
Yeah, it
but
seemed
if you follow she writes, like, "If you follow the ferry timetables and everything, it is somewhere off the island of Ireland and off Scotland, like,
okay.
Mhm.
that kinda area." Did you feel that you got the traditions more after having been to Ireland and seeing? Because I felt like it read a little different to me having been there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been to Ireland before. I've been there twice before when I was much younger.
That's
Um,
right.
but absolutely, because like even though too, like after Kelsey used to do Irish dance,
Mhm.
and I know the names of some of like the bodhran, which is like the little drum, and she said
Mhm.
that she plays that, so that definitely made that connection of it being much of Irish, and having sat in on a trad session in Galway last November, and made that that deeper connection. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I've
I just
actually
thought
been.
as
I
many times as I've read this, and I was like, but I read it last year. I felt this when I read it. I was like, I didn't catch as much of
mhm.
the small knit community as like when I actually witnessed it, like actually going into those seaside communities
When
through the
I
Ring of
was
Kerry, which is kind of opposite side of the island, what she's talking about, but
right.
still that idea that these are these little seaside villages that there's nothing big around. This is it,
Well,
Mhm.
you know?
when I was there when you guys were, like, in diapers, um I went out to the Aran Islands, and at that point, the bank was only open, like, 1 day a week, and the post office was only open,
Yeah.
like, 1 day a week, and yeah, so definitely that very rough, very rugged, very
That
minimalistic.
community feeling, it's just a
Yes,
very
yes,
different community than when you live in a city or
Mhm.
and you all have to rely off each other.
right,
You know,
Yes.
they're all relying off the butchers, they're all relying off the bakery. This is what it is, you know?
but
Mhm.
the Malverns are just such assholes.
'Cause
Sorry.
they own, like, half the island.
I
What would
Right.
know, I mean, so they don't understand that idea of community. They're like they're just so they're greedy bastards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Alright, so how about, the mythology?
You know, what's funny is for me is listening to the book this time instead of reading it. I could not remember how Kapelushka was spelled until I saw
Uh-huh.
it in our outline tonight.
I have to look it up every time. Like, anytime I try to type it, I'm like, "How is this spelled?"
Yeah,
I know, but I liked listening to it because then you know how to say it too, which
right,
I know
Yes.
she says
exactly.
it in the book, but it's also like, "Oh, I get to hear it
Mhm.
pronounced." But,
Yeah.
um, I love the mythology in this,
Mhm.
and the fact that and I don't is this true of Celtic mythology? Women play a very large role in Celtic mythology. Are there a lot of, like, female it just feels
I
like
got nothing
I'm
there's
on
not
that.
sure.
like, it's very female based.
But it's also very misogynist because, God forbid this girl should be in the Scorpio race. We can't
Right.
have a woman on the beach. It reverses the natural order. Well,
Yep,
Puck's going to show you, isn't
yep.
she?
That's why I pulled that quote, I loved it.
Yeah.
So
The
did
women
Gus
are
or whoever that was.
the women are the island, and the island keeps us, that's important, but the men are what drives the island into the seabed and keeps it from floating out to the sea. But that was kinda interesting, like, we revere our women so much that we don't want you to be down on the beach. You have to stay up here, and, like, you're amazing. I looked up Epona 'cause I was like, "I should actually look up this god and see what it
Yeah.
is." It also is an equestrian brand,
Was it
Oh,
really?
which I
That's
did not know.
funny.
I was like, "Oh, okay,
interesting.
makes sense." I was looking for something this weekend literally, and I'm like, "Oh, Epona brand. I get it now."
There it
I love
is.
when you make those connections. You go, oh,
I
that's why
know.
that's called that.
That's why it's
Yeah.
called that. She started out as the Celtic goddess of horses and fertility and became the only Celtic deity to be integrated into the Roman pantheon. So, like, the only deity that the Romans, like, followed as well. So
Acknowledge.
she's
That's
heavily the
cool.
god of horses and fertility and is often seen, I think, carrying a foal, carrying a horse, something like that. I thought that was
Mhm.
really interesting, though, that it reached as far as well, Rome reached as far as
Yeah.
Ireland. We know that now, but, um I thought that was really creative of Maggie to find that,
Absolutely.
be like, "Wow, that actually makes" and it makes
But
sense
it
Yeah.
because
just sounds like
she's the
she's
goddess with the horse head, the one that tells, everyone to make a wish or whatever at the
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
well, it sounds
Which
like
is
she's pretty immersed in Celtic tradition and Celtic, so
Yeah.
it makes sense that she would incorporate that.
Mhm.
Is the sea typically female too, isn't it, in most
Yeah,
cultures?
yeah. I feel like it's usually referred
I
to
feel
as a
like you
she.
see the sea as
Mhm.
she does
Yeah.
this or she
Yeah.
yeah,
Agree.
that's kinda
That's
interesting.
because they can blame women for stuff.
She's angry.
Yeah.
The sea
Like
is
my what
angry.
was my hold on, the quote I pulled, referring
Yeah.
to Peg Grattan, she had a short fuse this morning because it was a day that ends in Y, you see?
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
I was like, "Oh, I love that quote."
I went back and forth, like, I know we have, like, our outline, kind of the way the outline is, but as I was, like, typing quotes and, like, typing up the list of, like, topics and plot points, I kept wanting to, like, shove quotes in, which I'm glad you did, because so I wasn't the only one that was, like, thinking that way.
I'm like, I have so many quotes, and I was like, half of these we'll probably cover before we actually
Yes.
get to the quote part because
Yes.
they're more related
There's
to
so
something that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
100%. And I kept
So,
like, "Do I put it up there? Do I no, put it in the list. Do I put it up there? No, put it in the list."
But it is interesting about the whole, like you said, Marianne, it's misogynistic that women can't do this, but also it's because we revere you so highly.
Yeah.
But that's why I love, though, too, that it is a YA book because it shows women, shows young girls that they can't let things stop them.
Yeah.
Right. And she
What
like
is it? They
fully
say
bucks the system.
right, totally. She's like, not
She's
only
like,
am I gonna ride in the race, I'm not riding a water horse.
right,
Yeah,
I'm riding my own little horse.
there's another quote about Peg too, about how she can tear a man's heart out.
Yeah.
She's that kinda
That
everyone's in
kind
love
of
with her.
lady.
Everyone's in love with her because she can tear a man's heart out or something like that, and I'm like, "Oh, I kinda love Peg Granton too." She's interesting.
Yes. I love, with the exception of the Malverns, like, I love
Yeah.
everyone in this book. Like, there's something about almost every character where I'm like, "You know what? Yeah."
Now, one thing I
I
was just
hate
thinking
Mutt the
about
most, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
Malvern
Mutt's
doesn't
the
bother me
fucking
as much.
worst.
Malvern, I feel like is necessary because you
Yes.
need you need somebody to be against,
Yes.
but
one thing I was just thinking, one thing I don't like is that we don't really get a definitive time period. And because sometimes it seems so rural and so, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like when I can't think of the word, like when you don't have any technology,
Like,
right.
antiquated?
antiquated, yes.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're talking about their getting their Mini Cooper or something, getting it
Yeah.
running. So like that was a little frustrating sometimes, especially I think for listening to the book, like not knowing when this supposedly was taking place. But then again, I guess the American would not have been there probably if it had been too far in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that was one thing. That's just, not saying anything bad about the book, but that was just one when in talking about the show, not tell. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me when this is supposed to be. Is this 1935, 1945, 19 I would think probably like 1945, but I don't know. That
Well,
She
was it a Mini
alludes to
Cooper as
that
the
at some
car?
point. It's not a Mini Cooper.
No, it's something else. What
but
is
it was
it?
something
What's the
like
car?
that though. It was
Yeah,
some
because the
kind of
Mini
Is
Cooper
it?
wasn't created till like the 60s.
but it was like some smaller
Oh
car
my
that
gosh.
I'd
The
heard.
Morris? The
Yes,
Morris?
yes, I think so.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm gonna look it up now. Pictured this big, like, honking car. Oh.
So
Oh, you know what
Morris,
the Morris is? It's like the car from, Harry Potter. Yeah.
interesting.
The Morris Minor is the most popular, and that was
That's why
1930,
I
but
was
it's
thinking Mini
old.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of it continued.
Looks kind
It
of
was in production
VW-ish,
till, like,
doesn't it?
2014, so
Look, this one I'm looking at right here. I don't know if you can see, Let's see if I can get it in the right. That looks
yeah.
like
Oh,
that looks
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
if a PT Cruiser and a
Yeah.
VW Beetle had a baby.
I always love like when like we talk about like things that like throw us off in books because like at no point in the however many years I've read this book have I ever thought about what year it was set in. Like not even once has that ever crossed my mind.
And
So
yet
I
but
like when that happens because like it like
Right.
shows like the
I'm like,
you know
"Well,
what I
I
mean?
didn't
Like
think of
out loud,
that."
like, oh, like I've never really and now I'm like Googling a million things.
well, for
Um,
me too, I think because I'm a history teacher, I look at that though too, like trying to figure out place it in time.
so I found a Tumblr post.
Okay.
Shout out to Welcome to Thisbe. And someone asked her, I don't even know when this post is from, but someone asked the writer, what time period do you think the Scorpio races takes place in and why? And this person did some like extensive like research. So they went through the whole book and looked at the descriptions of technology, like radio and cinema are mentioned, but there's no mention of a television anywhere.
Right.
Flat caps, bowlers, three-piece suits, and pocket watches are all mentioned. Automobiles are mentioned alongside pony carts. And
Right.
some of the slang that is used points definitively to the first half of the 20th century. We can rule out the 1900s, like 1900 to 1910, as being too early. Not a single war is mentioned. So, assuming that this
Yeah.
is like this universe and not an AU, the
Mhm.
1910s and the 1940s are not likely. That leaves us the 20s, 30s, and 50s. And then the writer goes through the different cars that are mentioned, like Father Mooneyham's car, the Grand Red car. Could be old, but the way that Puck and Finn appreciate it makes you think it's the top of the line. Talks about the prologue that takes place 9 years earlier and how Sean mentions visiting the mainland with his father, that would rule out the 1950s, because if he was visiting 9 years earlier, it would have been smack dab in the middle of World War II. So he
Yeah.
Wow.
wouldn't have been likely to visit the
I love
mainland
that. That's so cool, though.
during those years.
Dang. Okay.
Then looks at the economy and the boom and bust of the 20s and 30s. And she's like, the writer is narrowing down to those 2 decades based on like the decadent attitudes of the post-war boom in the 20s, which would be like the tourist woman who bought the Morris on a whim because it was cute. And then the unemployment of the 20s and 30s that's forcing people to leave the island in hopes of getting better
Huh.
work, because less tourists are coming if we're in
Right.
like the bust half of this. And then
See,
really digs into both the 20s and the 30s, talking specifically about like George Holly's clothes, Bedford. But the big one that points to the late 30s is that Grattan's Bedford truck was not produced until 1931. So that eliminates the 20s. And Puck always rides astride instead of side saddle. And it wasn't until the late 1920s that side saddle was kind of like issued by the suffragettes. So prior to that, Puck, even though she kind of like bucked the system all the time anyways, it would have been a much bigger like hullabaloo or whatever for
right.
her to ride astride. And it doesn't seem to phase anyone.
Right.
Hmm.
So those mark kind of mid to late 30s. And then could be 1950s, but this writer doesn't think so, just based solely on Sean's trip to the
See,
thing.
and I totally felt like it could have been the 80s or 90s because
no,
a small island, they're not like all caught up on modern things
no,
either.
but
Right.
Like, I guess that's what I was thinking. Like, I get that they weren't modern, but to me, the
Yeah.
old cars, that doesn't phase me. I was like, if there are barely any cars on the island, of course they're gonna have something that's literally 40 years old
Yeah.
or 50
So
years old.
there's one line that this author, and again, like shout out to Welcome to Thisbe, that she says she or he points to a later decade. And that is George Halley saying, or someone describing George Halley as being richer than the Queen. And the
mm,
Queen, if they're referring specifically to Queen Elizabeth II, was not crowned until 1953. So it would not have been a common saying until after that.
Right. But
Whoever
and I
this person is,
also
like, amazing. Like, thank you for digging in.
and I also think too that there's I mean, even currently right now, you can buy an island
Yes.
off the coast of Ireland because they are not inhabited. Like, the living is hard and people have left. So to me, I feel like also the leaving the island doesn't have to be 1920s because
Yeah.
it's just hard. It's
Yeah.
hard work. People leave because there's better things on the
Yes.
mainland. But and the whole three-piece suit thing, people still wear three-piece suits in Ireland.
Right.
well, I
They're
was
a
just
little
thinking about it when I was on the Aran Islands. I think it was 1984 or maybe 84, I think, and they
yeah.
were still like using peat to like
Yeah.
heat
Oh,
their
yeah.
houses and stuff. So
Yeah. It's not as modern, I feel like, as and flat caps. That's
yeah,
totally 100% like a British Isles
yeah,
Irish thing. You can buy them all everywhere. So I don't, I'm gonna have to find it. It's somewhere I read that because I thought that was interesting, and that she had said she wasn't trying to make it a certain like there was a
right.
reason she didn't make it a certain time and a place. But I will be
Because
checking out Welcome to Disney. I know.
people like us would be trying to figure it out.
Literally.
My gosh.
Okay, let's
Like,
get
we
back
just
on
spent like
track.
10 minutes on
Okay.
that.
I know,
I'm fascinated by it though.
Right?
I know, that's
Anyways,
amazing.
family and responsibility. I feel like this entire book is about like families. Like, yes, there's like a million other things going on, but like what's happening in Puck's family,
Yeah.
what's happening to Sean because of his lack of family
Hmm.
and family ties and the position that puts him in. And then even, you get into like Dory Maud, who I fucking adore.
Yeah.
Like, there all these like not even just like familial ties, but community ties. And then what does it mean? Like, you know,
Well, her
Gabe
relationship with her
leaving.
sisters,
Yes.
just that whole thing.
And even bad guys are the Malverns. I
Yes.
mean, I mean, they're like they're the stereotypical greedy,
Mhm.
family that, you know, that's trying like the I don't know, like the JP Morgans or
Yeah.
of Thisbe. Now, one thing I'm curious about is her brother Finn. I got the feeling he was like Asperger's or something. Anybody else get that?
Yeah.
There's
Or
something
something.
definitely quirky about him.
I feel like the next time I reread, as I got this thought halfway through, it says such interesting things about Finn. Like
Yes.
Finns are curious creatures. Like Finn is
Yes.
almost his own being. And he does that. There was lots of quotes I kept finding, but I wasn't looking for him initially, so I didn't mark
Yeah.
all of them. I was like, that's the next one to go through
Yeah.
because the way she describes him,
Yes.
he meddles, he not meddles, but
Yeah.
he like
It like
frets,
tinkers.
he frets and
Tinkers.
tinkers,
Yeah.
and it's something that she always says something that Finns do. Like
Yes.
and I thought that was really,
Well,
really
and then
interesting.
too, like some of the kids I've known with Asperger's who always have random crap in their pockets,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
things that they're fidgeting with, and so that I just made me think of that when I was listening to about Finn. He's just his own person. He's just like a,
Right. I found 2
and she's
quotes
so
too.
loyal to him though too.
I
Yes.
Should
more loyal to him, I feel like, than Gabe. Like, Gabe
well, Gabe's
takes care of
deserting
them, but
them.
she takes care of Finn. Like, it's
Yes.
always been her and Finn, and Gabe kinda off in the distance. Gabe's
Yeah,
much older or whatever, and
and
maybe her
Gabe's
and Finn are only a couple years apart or something
yeah,
like that.
and I think she's probably the maternal aspect. I mean, let's face it,
Yeah.
that falls on the women's shoulder no matter what in a family. So I think
Mhm.
that's part of it.
And I think she's more like fiercely loyal. I would kind of love to see kind of a deeper prologue of like what led us to this point because it would be
Right.
Yeah.
interesting to see if I always got the sense when reading Gabe of just like he's so fucking tired of being the adult
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
family.
Well,
And
who
he's
can
And
like,
the
blame
island,
him?
he hates everything about the
yes,
island, and
because I would love to see if like does he feel this way because responsibility fell on him before he was ready to be responsible and it's not
Right.
necessarily like his natural inclination
Right.
to take care of a family and it's not what he wanted for himself and it's not what he wanted for like his siblings, but here
Right.
we are and he has to do it. And I feel like at the start of the book, he's kind of hit the wall and he's like, I'm gonna do this thing for myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna under the guise of like if I go do this, I can send back money and like be helpful or
Right. Be
whatever.
helpful that way.
But I wonder if he kind of looks at Puck and thinks you could do it better than I can, so why am I doing it? Like it's you have that instinct in you that I don't have
Right.
and you're
Right.
so good with Finn and to Finn and you'll figure it out because you always do and I can't do it anymore. It's kind of how I always read Gabe.
Well,
Absolutely.
her and Finn, I think, feel the same way about the island
Yes.
that Gabe does not.
Yeah.
And I think going back to like if Finn is somewhere like on the spectrum, then too, like he's not going to want to change. Whereas Gabe
No.
is
Right.
ready for a change. He
Yes.
sees that there's a bigger world out there, and there's places he could go. He's not tied to the island. Whereas I think Puck loves the island, and I
Mhm.
think Finn is just going to go where is just happy in his own little
Yeah.
Yes.
reality and doesn't want to change anything.
Because he does
Mhm.
like to tinker, and I don't think that
Yeah.
lifestyle would fit him on the mainland.
Right. Right.
I mean, Puck loves the island despite everything,
Right.
and
I think Finn's
Gabe
just
hates it
happy.
because of it. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
she's like,
Absolutely.
"I get it. I get that it's cold and it's rocky and nothing grows here, and I love it for those reasons."
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I found 2 funny quotes about
Oh, okay.
brothers.
Yes.
The first one, "I hate brothers because they never realize when something is important to you and they only care about their own things." And I was
Yes.
like, "Yep." And then the other one was, "I think brothers are the most inexplicable species on the planet." And I
I
was like,
agree.
"Yep."
Yep.
Again, having grown up with a brother and a sister, yes, I love you both, but so I thought that's kind of funny. Here's this single female living with these 2 boys, and she's just like, you're driving me crazy."
Okay, one of the things I really loved about this book was George Holly. I mean, I just love, like you said,
Yeah.
his outsider's perspective and
Yes.
how he didn't have all the backstory. He only saw what was in front of him.
Yes.
And like he saw like how Sean felt about Puck and vice versa. And he figured out that island and who was had the power and who was pulling the strings. And
Yeah.
he figured out that whole island because he didn't have any of those connections, any of those things that were any of that backstory, any of that baggage that would keep him
Mhm.
from really seeing it clearly. And I thought
Mhm.
he was a really interesting character.
And I like that he's, like, just curious about everything.
Yes.
Like, he which is obviously he's kind of like the stand-in for the audience. Like, the things we're curious about are the things he's curious about. But he, like I forget which scene. There's one part where he's, like, asking questions, and you can tell he's like, "Y'all are fucking weird, but tell me all about it." Like, as he's, like, piecing it together, he's like, "That
Right.
seems not
And what was the one
Unnecessary?
normal." Yeah.
what was the one scene too where he offers Sean a full paid job
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not
and
just a job, but a partnership. He says,
Yes.
"You won't just be my
And it
groom.
was
I wanna be in business with you."
and that was
Yes.
like a test to see if I think wasn't it a test to see how deeply Sean felt about Puck?
Yeah.
Wasn't he like
Yeah. There was
he
Something
was
a
like
like
yeah, a
that.
playing
little bit
devil's
like
advocate in there, like,
yeah.
let's see how serious you are here, dude. Get
Yeah.
And
your
I
head
do
out of your
think,
ass
like
and accept the fact
yeah,
that you're madly in love with her.
that's what I was gonna say, like, he definitely figured it out before Sean and Puck figured it out. Like, they
Yes.
were still like, "What is this that's happening to us?" And
Yes.
Holly's like, "Anyways, you 2 are
Yeah.
in love."
Yes.
And
He was almost like a sage or the wizard
yes.
between, like,
Yes.
"I'm going to bring you together
Yes.
and say all these things," because,
Because
I
you're
mean, at
awkward
one
and you
point
can't do it yourselves.
he even says to Puck, he's like, don't let Sean wait too long to figure out he's lonely."
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like,
I
"Well,
don't think I wrote that quote down, but I
I
do
know. I
love
don't
that
think I
quote.
wrote any of the George Holly ones down, but
There's
there's a ton of them that
At
are
a
There's
certain point,
another
I
one.
had to, like, stop writing quotes. I was like, "We'll be
There's
here all day."
there's another one where he says something about he'll be back next year and this and
Yep,
that and Puck in your bed or
yep.
Kate Connolly in your
Core
bed.
yeah,
Yeah,
core in your
in the barn
there'll be a
and
full oh, I'll give you the mare that I
yeah.
buy, and we'll have a foal by you and the red stallion, and you'll have living in your father's house with Puck Conley in your bed or
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
I'm like
Like, yes.
but I think part of it is because he does have so much money on an island that separates by money that he
Yeah.
can kind of do whatever he can go on any side he wants because
Yes.
he has
But I don't think he
really
throws it.
almost more money than Malvern, it sounds like
It does
he's
seem that way, yes.
like,
He,
"I can come in and buy any of these horses,
but
and
he's
then
not
some."
doing it in a malicious way the way
No,
Malvern
no.
does. He has the money, but I think he's old money maybe and Malvern is new money. And so with the old
Yes.
money, he's like doesn't feel the need to be
Yep.
manipulative.
Yeah. And I think that's a good juxtaposition against the Malverns because the
Yes.
Malverns are so manipulative.
So greedy,
Like, there's not a second that you can really trust anything that they're saying or doing. There's always, like, some side play that's happening, and George Holly just isn't that way. I mean, he definitely, I think, tries to, like, pull strings here and there, but never in a way that's, like, purely for his own gain.
Well,
Well,
he
and then
recognizes what's happening
Yeah.
between Malvern and Sean right away.
Yeah.
was
Like,
it was it
he's
Mutt? Was it the one that purposely hurt Core just to get back? I
Yes.
mean, like destroyed
well,
his own
tried to,
property
Tried to.
tried
Yeah.
basically.
to.
Well, he did though, because I guess we're into spoiler
I know, I was just
territory.
thinking, how far do we go until we start to do spoilers?
Spoilers.
Okay,
I
here's your
think we're
big
gonna
one
start
because we
getting
haven't given anything big away yet.
No.
Yeah.
But
Not yet.
just a lot of character talk. But now if you don't wanna know what happens at the end.
Now's your moment.
Okay.
But,
But yes,
because
Mott does a few things. He
He's such a dick.
fundamental,
Yeah.
the horse that he lets get killed by a water horse
Yeah.
yes.
on his watch, and
His
Sean
watch.
even says he's the one that owned this horse. It
Yes.
wasn't his father's, it was his, and he
he
let
just
him go
doesn't
down
care.
just to piss Sean off.
Yes.
And then he hurts Adana when he thinks it's Core and he slices the hamstrings.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then, yeah, the fight at the end where he's willing to die for.
Yeah. He's such a, like, what's the word I want to use for Mutt? Like,
Asshole.
yeah, I mean, yes, asshole, but like, um,
He's, like, blinded by his own
Yeah, that's
rage,
it.
like,
He's just
blinded by his
blinded
own
by
rage,
his hatred.
because he literally is fine with killing himself in the end, letting
Right.
Spada take him off into the sea
Yes.
just to
Just to
hurt
prove a
just to
fucking
hurt
yes.
point.
Sean.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like I said, I feel like they're like new money and they all of a sudden they've come into
Yeah,
all this money and they feel like they have all this power and they're just invincible and above everybody else.
yeah,
Whereas
Yeah.
like George Holly, he's lived with money all his life, so he doesn't feel that same need to prove it to
Yeah.
everybody.
but
And even
Malvern
though, like, I feel like if this was a movie or whatever, this was real life, and you saw George Holly standing at Malvern's, like, immediately, like, you can tell, like, that this is a guy of means
Mhm,
and the Malverns are masquerading. Like, I think
yeah,
it's insanely obvious, and that probably is one more thing that feeds into the Malverns, like, jealousy of just like, you're not
and
ever going to be that.
Malvern kinda kisses his ass.
Yes.
Like, he's pissed about him hooking up with Annie, who's
Yeah.
apparently Malvern's old fling,
Yeah.
but he's like, "I gotta keep him around still because he's gonna spend a lot of money with me."
Yes.
So he can't be too pissed about it.
Yes.
But he does mention in front of George and the other buyers that in many ways, Sean is more of an heir than Mutt is. When he
Mm-hmm.
says that in front of Mutt, and I think that's
Yeah.
what sends Mutt over the edge.
Yes.
He's like, it's as
Jealousy.
he says, "It seems like you owe a lot to Sean here in the work he does." And he said he looks like right at Mutt, and he goes, "Yeah, in many ways, he's
Yeah.
more of an heir than."
And
I
that's
was like,
such a like,
"Dang, to
yeah,
say
like
that in front of your own son, like, that's
and
low."
in front of like other people
Yes.
that
Shows what
that
kind of
has to
person he
be
is.
around. Like, it's not like
Yes.
that's an offhand comment that's going to be said and
Oh,
disappear.
no.
That
No.
hangs there.
Yep.
And I mean, it fucks Sean over too, because now you've created like a very clear enemy in Mutt.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah.
And Sean doesn't want it. Like, it's not like Sean is trying to be the heir to the Malvern estate.
Sean
He
just wants to take
wants
care
his
of
horse
Core
and to be
and
left
take care of the
alone.
Yeah.
horses, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have any aspirations
Doesn't
to
want all
greatness.
the
He
Right.
just wants to
No.
do his job. And
So
It's that simple life that I put down too. He and Puck
Yeah.
want something so simple,
yes.
just to have what they need,
Yeah.
and that's it. They don't need to
Yes.
be living famously or whatever, they just need their basic means.
Which always, like, the quote that I feel like anytime I'm talking about, hold on, I always get it in the wrong order. But oh, and I think
You wrote it in the right order.
I know, but when I try to say it, I always say it in the wrong order. And then I'm assuming this is you, Sarah, that added the second part.
Huh?
Like, for Sean, it literally is the sky and the sand and the sea and core. Full stop. Like, that's what he sees
Well,
as like a full life.
And that's what he tells Puck.
Yes.
Puck says, "What do you want? The sky, the sand, and the sea and the core." And Malvern says,
Yes.
"Tell me your mind. What do you want?" To Sean, and Sean says, "A roof over my head, reins in my hand, and the sand beneath me."
Like,
Because
that's
he
it.
can't say core.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that would give
Yes.
Malvern power. So I found that interesting
Yes.
because he says that. And I was like, the first time I read it, I was like, that's not the quote. And then I
Yeah.
went further and I was like, oh,
Oh.
that's because he's saying two different things where it's like he
Yes.
wants Malvern to think, I'm
That
okay
core
with
is
just
not
a
as
roof over my head,
important.
reins,
Yeah.
any horse, reins in my hand,
Yes.
and the sand under my feet. And really, he's like, no, I want the sky, the sand, and core,
Yes. And I
which I
think
think is
that,
beautiful.
and when he says that to Puck, she gets it immediately.
Because I
Like,
think
there's no like,
she
oh, you
feels
don't
the
want
same
something
way.
more? Yeah.
minus core, and it
Or
says
and
Dove.
it would be Dove. Yeah. So I think for Puck, for me, like when I read the book the first time, that's the quote that stuck with me the most, besides the quote that
Yeah,
we all
the
love.
quote.
But for
The
me,
one
I
that
was
knocks
like,
us out every
oh,
time.
I get it. Like, I get, like, that sounds wonderful to me. It's just the sky and the sea and the sand and your horse sounds
Yep.
like the perfect life.
Yep.
And the fact that Sean says it so honestly and Puck gets it immediately, she doesn't need any further explanation, I think shows how, like, right they are for each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we should go right. That's a perfect segue into Cora and Sean. Cora and Sean's.
Yeah.
I was reading the Cora and Sean's into Sean and Puck's relationship.
Yes. I love them.
I do too. No, and it's for me, it's just like sometimes, you read some of these spicy books and they've got all these anatomical details and And
Some, if you're reading the Were Turkey.
I know, right?
And then also a guy with a turkey head.
But there's just like something so powerful in this book about like the subtleness of it all. It's not
Yes.
in your face like, hey, we're doing this or that. It's just like it's so sweet and tender and subtle and just powerful.
Yes.
Just
And I think Maggie does an awesome job at like capturing those little moments where like if you I mean obviously I read a lot of explicit like nonsense where like you have so much information that you're just like unnecessary but I'm reading it anyways.
right.
But in a book like this, I'm going to scroll till I find the right quote. Where
There's several.
yeah, I think every now and then about Sean's thumb pressed against my wrist and daydream about him touching me again. That's such a tiny, tiny moment that happens prior to
Yep.
that, where his thumb is like kind of hitting her pulse point. But she doesn't have that kind of physical relationship, even with her family. Like, this is
Yeah.
not a family that hugs or says I love you a lot. Like,
Right.
this is which is, lots of families are like that. But so for her, just the simple act of holding her in a very, very basic way hits her very deeply.
Found many instances, and I found this interesting. Most people, it's like, I feel my heart jump. It's always, always Puck's pulse.
Yeah.
There's like several quotes about it because above that, I recognize the voice without turning my head and my pulse goes bump, bump, bump and thinks about starting again, but doesn't quite manage it. And then it's because the one time he pressed his thumb to her pulse,
He
and
felt
that
it.
is like what she always thinks about in terms of like, and I noticed that I was like, most are like, oh, my heart, my heart. And with the two of them, it's like their pulse, their soul, like
Yes.
they're reading way deeper into each other.
And
What actually brings them life is what's they're
yes.
feeling in each other.
But you know
And
what
I
So
think
beautiful.
the
yes.
true soulmates are?
Yes.
Core and Sean.
100%. Yes.
Like when Core doesn't go back into the sea and drags himself up the beach back to
Yep.
Sean, I'm like,
Guys,
"Ugh."
I cried last night reading that, and
Yeah,
I have
every time.
literally read this book 15 times, and
Every time.
I got teary when he starts to turn around.
Well,
So,
and even when, he says, I might never ride Core again, and I don't
I
know
don't
who
know
I
who I
am
am
without
without
him.
him.
Like,
Oh, Marianne, you probably don't know this. This is truly a thing with horse people. We have what's called our heart
our
horse,
heart horse.
which is the horse that of all the horses you've owned or had or whatever, there's one that speaks to you. Like you feel like you know them better than anything else, which is it's Core for Sean.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yours
people say
yours
that
was
about
paint, wasn't it?
Mine was paint. And as a complete side story, because Gus is such a fucking monster at the vet, we have a animal communicator that we used to bring to the barn in Syracuse. So I emailed her and I was like, Colleen, I need your help because I can't figure out for the life of me why this dog is so aggressive at the vet because he's not aggressive anywhere else. Like I take him everywhere. So we call the communicator and we can recap that later. But I was like, well, I've got you. What's up with my boy, which is Paint? And, so we have a whole conversation about that. But I had Paint and I had Cole were my two that I had at the same time. And, Paint is my grumpy old man was like, uh, everyone needs a Paint. And everyone should have one of me and you should go find one. Like, and then my coal miner was like, I would have said 100% every time that Paint Horse is my heart horse. Probably coal miner really is because I only had her for 5 years before she died, but she was a rescue. And like, I never rode her because she couldn't be ridden. But her message was, we find each other in every single lifetime. So keep your eyes open. I'm coming back.
"Aw."
And I can I
Shut
don't have
up.
the money for that. But like,
Please wait till I have money. I can't buy you again.
wait till I can afford you. But Paint was my like best buddy, but Cole was probably my heart horse, honestly. Because we bonded in a very, very different way. Like I rescued her and she kind of rescued me.
Yeah, I always thought Jake was my cart horse because I had
Yeah.
him. I bought him as a yearling
Yeah.
and raised him till he was 10, and then I don't know. He never quite turned out what I wanted him to turn out,
Yeah.
how I wanted him to turn out. He had an injury as a yearling
Yeah.
that I think stunted his growth. So he was
Yeah.
supposed to be like ginormous, 16
Yeah.
3 hands, and he ended up being barely 16. And I sold him and I was like okay with it. And you're not
Yeah.
okay when you sell your
No.
horse, you
Like, I
know?
would have never gotten rid of Paint Horse, but
No. And
Paint
then I
was
got Bentley and
Tommy's
I've
cart
had
horse.
Bentley I've had Bentley
Yeah.
for 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I bought him when he was 4, he's 19. And it's funny because when I first got him, I rode him and he was great for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then he was super naughty, like would just stop and not go
Yeah.
anywhere. And it took me a good 6 months of working through. So then the trainer I was working with, she has one of the people that she trained with her has a half brother to him. And I was
Oh.
talking to them one day, and her
Yeah.
horse's name was Jesse, and they're like, "Oh, could anyone else ride Bentley?" And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, his bloodlines, do you have a minute as their dad? They tend to be one person horses, and
Ooh,
when they find their person, they don't
that's
like
it.
anyone else around." And I was like,
Interesting.
"Holy crap!" Because
Yeah.
Bentley and I are like I feel like nobody else understands him like I do. Like I just he's grumpy.
Mhm.
He's a fiery dragon. He
Yeah.
thinks he's 2. I'm like, "Dude, you got
Right. You're like,
arthritis."
you're old, man.
But it is that heart horse thing, and I think for
Yes.
me with this book, that's what gets me with Core because I'm like, I
Yes.
get it. But I
I get
also
it.
think if you're not a horse person, if you're a dog person or a cat person,
Right.
any animal person, if you've ever had that animal that you
I
just
feel
think
there's still a heart. I mean, like for me, I think it would
speaks to
be
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be like Walter. I mean, Oswald.
Yes.
he's great, but Walt was your
Yes.
boy.
Walt was just so, so good. Oswald's so
Walt's
bad.
annoying.
God, I mean, the thing you cannot believe the things we find in bed with us because he brings them to the bed in the middle of the night, like a can of baked beans the other day. Knives, I find knives, and
My God.
not so
You're
much in
like,
the bed, but on the floor. I
Yeah.
mean, this dog is a lunatic. He does. He know like he's super smart and he knows our schedule. So like when I leave for work in the morning, he's not phased at all. But if I take my bike out,
Yeah.
he's pissed.
He's like, where the fuck
yeah,
you
He's
going?
like, "Wait a minute, you're supposed to be home with me today
right,
Yeah.
because you've
right,
been home with me all day, and I'm gonna fuck something up because
right.
you're leaving me alone." Anyhow, let's get back to work because
I know. We have
Yes.
tons more to
Distracted.
do.
We still have so much
Um,
more to do.
no, there was a soul oh gosh, one that Sean does this sweep of his eyes that he does, the one that goes from my head to my toes and back again, and makes me feel like he's scanning the depths of my soul and teasing out my motivations and sins.
Yes.
If
I
that
think
doesn't say
there's
love.
right. I think there's a lot of kind of what again, I keep saying like what Maggie does great. Maggie does everything great. I have no complaints ever about Maggie. But in this one, I love how she makes a point to note that these two people, Puck and Sean, are not, they don't act on impulse necessarily. And that there's a lot of like, that's like the definition of slow burn.
Yes.
Even with like, at lots of points, she says like, there's a long pause or where's the for a long moment I stand on the rocks imagining
They
where she could
just
be.
look at each other.
Yes, and then I climb back up the cliff path. The evening loves her throat and her cheekbones.
That is like my
The
favorite
way yeah,
line. It is so I have to read you the whole passage because it's that good.
but the way that they notice each other I think is top notch. And they're what's the movie? A Star is Born with the Lady Gaga Bradley Cooper version. I remember when that first came out and people were like, we don't know if we're gonna like blah 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 blah. And then in
Yeah.
the first preview, people lost their ever loving minds because of the way that Bradley Cooper simply looks
Just
at
their
Lady
chemistry.
Gaga
Yeah.
while
Mm.
she's performing. And just the simple act of watching and noticing and being like in awe of this other person
well, think about it
was
though.
such a chemistry like thing that needed no words. Like there was
No.
no action involved. It
Well,
was
and they
just
seek each
him
other out.
watching her.
They seek each other out when they need comfort.
Yes.
And
But
that's
they
where that line comes from is uh after Sean releases Tommy Falksmere.
Yes.
after Tommy dies, and he says, "This is a long." That's why I wrote my ellipses in there because I was like,
Yes.
"For a long moment, I stand on the rocks, imagining where she would be, and then I climb back up the cliff path. The ground is dark, but here, closer to the sky, the evening air is still dark and red. Elsewhere on Thisbe, it must be night, but here we still have a whisper of the evening sun far away across the western sea." I'm like already blown away, but I find her there at the top of the cliff facing the horizon. Her knees are pulled up to her chin, her arms wrapped around them. She looks like she has grown from the rocks and dirt around her. Though she hears my footsteps, her eyes keep searching the sea. I draw myself up next to her and look at her profile, making no effort to disguise my attention here, where there is only Puck to see me. The evening sun loves her throat and her cheekbones. Her hair, the color of cliff grass, rises and falls over her face in the breeze. Like,
Yeah. He like
that they don't even say anything, and he's like, "I'm upset, and I just need her." And I
Okay, but
see
think
her.
about this. They're both really good at training horses. What do you need to
yes.
train a horse? You need instincts. You need to be able to read their body language. And that's exactly what they're doing with each other too. They don't need words. You can't speak to your horse.
Right, right.
You listen for, you know,
Yeah, you
the
have to be
Yes.
subtle. Yeah,
movements,
Yes.
the body language, the the way their ears are, their eyes, whatever. They're doing the same thing to each other. It's all
mhm.
instinct. It just makes so much sense.
Yes.
Love too, they notice the stillness in each other
Mhm.
because he looks for her, but then she says, "Oh, she's looking for him." Because I spot a point of stillness in the
Yes.
seething crowd, Sean Kendrick. His clothing is dark, his expression darker. He looks off into the black night direction of the sea. He is unmistakably waiting. Like, she looks for the spot that is
That's
still,
still.
and that's what makes her go, "Oh, there he is,"
Yes.
which I think is really
The
amazing.
and I think where's the core watches me, the mares watch the ocean, I watch the
Just the
girl.
girl. There's so many lines like that where
And
he's like he talks about just watching her.
yes. But I also think like everyone else is watching them too. Because no one like it's not like Puck's out gallivanting around with all the boys. And Sean's only ever really had attention for horses
Well,
and for the Scorpio races. And then suddenly they're together. They're doing it together now. And I love that. I think it's Dory Maud
Yeah.
who says it. You two are a strange pair. You are a pair, aren't you? And the
Yeah.
response is, we're in
We're in
training.
training.
Like, I thought that's like a rare kind of like funny line. Like so
Yeah.
many of the lines about the two of them
Right.
are like very deep and very like soulful. And then that way we're in training. Like we don't know what the fuck
Right.
we're doing, but like,
Right.
yeah, we are a pair.
but what kind of? I mean, I don't think Sean's had any relationships to model it on. So
No.
Right.
No.
so this is all new territory for him. Which at least I
Yes.
think, at least Puck had her parents. I think were happily married, and she has memories of the two of them. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Sean
But
has
his mom,
anything.
Sean's mom left him. So that's he's
Yeah.
like, "Whatever," and my dad died. I watched my dad die and my mom left.
Yes.
Yeah, so he doesn't have any, like, positive memories of relationships or positive role
Yeah.
models
Yeah.
in
And I think
relationships, so he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
yes. And I
Yeah.
think he's um kind of the moment he realizes that she's on his mind
Yeah.
and that, it's for him it's a realization of my mind has been full of all this other stuff for so long and suddenly she's taking up space
And I
in
don't
his
think he
thoughts
likes
and
it
like
at first, 'cause
at
Right.
first I
that's
Right.
think
getting in
he's
the
like,
way.
what the but
I got too much
the
to think about than to think about
yes.
some silly girl who thinks she's gonna ride a regular horse in this
Yeah.
race.
I think
There's that
for me,
one
when he
quote.
kind of realizes it, like
Yeah.
when he feels like, oh, this is something new and different and I want it, like I want it, is when he's talking about her with Core and is like, she stands beside Core looking
And
up at him. I
I want
want
her to
her to
love him.
love him
Because like
because they're
Marianne
both
said,
so important.
if his true soulmate is Core and you meet
Yes.
someone, you want that person to love
Right.
Yes.
something as much as you. And again, that's why I think transcends horses. It's not
Yes.
just about, I feel like that's an experience people could be like, if you're really passionate and you love something so much, you want somebody else who's important to you, you want them to love it the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
And it ties to the quote that's right above it in there too, that like
Love
something
it.
tells me this is Puck saying, something tells me my spit wouldn't mean as much to Core as yours would. And there's again, the
A
long
long
pause,
pause.
like he's considering what to say and what it means and, whatnot before Sean speaks. And he says, maybe not yet. So he's contemplating this future of like, Core's going to love you as much as I do. And you're going to love Core as much as I do.
Yeah. This is
this
gonna
could be the
happen.
real thing.
The quote I had above too, I can see her clearly standing on the rock beside Ped Granton, unflinching before Eaton and the rest of the race committee. I can't remember when I've been that brave and it shames me. The truth is, I feel myself being fascinated and repelled by her.
Yes.
She's both a mirror of myself and a door to part of the island that I'm not. So kind of like you were saying too, Marianne, with like her family's different than his, and he sees her as like, she's like me, but she's also different from me in a way that I'm intrigued by.
Right.
And
right.
That quote always makes me think that, and again, it goes to the piece that you read where he looks at her like she's grown right out of the rocks.
Yes.
Like I think
she's part of the island.
Yes, he views her as like, I think sometimes Sean feels like he's an outsider. Like even though he's grew up there and whatnot, he doesn't have that same kind of familial connection. Like his parents are both gone. He basically is like indentured to the Melbournes at this point.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't feel like he has those same ties to the island. And he views Puck as like this piece, like almost like magical and tied to the island, even though I would argue that she feels the same way about him. Like she sees him as something that kind of like transcends like reality and is part of, maybe not part of the okay, I'm just working this out of my head right now. I think Puck is a representation of the island. She's part of the island, and Sean is like the sea and the horses. So she views him as like the danger of the race and the connection to the capital sea. And he looks at her and goes, that's the ground that we walk on.
Yeah.
And that's why together they kind of like match up.
Yeah. That come together, and then that's yeah. Opposites, but not.
Yeah, like two halves of the same whole.
Yes.
See, we read this book how many years ago, and I'm like just now I'm like new things that I'm putting together right now.
Like I said, every time I was like, wow. But I have listened to it the last several years because I do agree the audio is just beautiful. And but we've pretty much covered all of our
But did we get to the quote?
No,
we did not. I was going to say we did all our plot points. We did most of our quotes, but we have not done the quote.
The quote that I can't. Do we need to set the scene? Like I feel like
yes, because I think it's important. Okay, I think it's important. Sean Kendrick comes to dinner.
Yeah,
and everyone is there, and the fact because he is not a public person.
He's not
so
very
for him
social.
to show up to dinner and not turn around and walk away once he sees that it's not just Puck.
Yeah.
It's Puck and her brothers and Tommy Falk, right?
Yeah.
Tommy and Beach are both there maybe. And I'm like,
Tommy definitely. I'm not
Tommy
sure
is
Beach.
for sure, but I don't know if Beach is. And his offering is the loaf of bread.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, and he's just so uncomfortable.
But he stays because he
loves her.
He loves her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the words for it yet. But he knows that there's something.
It's almost like they don't have to say I love you.
Yes.
Right. It just
because
is.
it's there. They get it.
Yeah.
They're so connected already that they're like, I don't. Yeah.
Okay, so who's going to say the quote?
Okay, I'll do it.
Before we say it though, I just want to like harken back to 2011 or whatever year it was that we read this book. That the absolute screaming we did about this quote via text message and online was
I'm just kidding. Oh, I know. I mean, I even before we started doing this podcast, if you said Scorpio Races to me, I would automatically think of this quote.
Yeah. All right, go for it, Sarah.
Okay. So Puck says, if they're having this conversation in the kitchen and Sean is cutting his bread and they're talking about the race, and Puck says, I say, I will not be your weakness, Sean Kendrick. Now he looks at me. He says very softly, it's late for that, Puck.
Aww.
We read a lot of smut, right?
Yes.
and
we read a lot of smut.
Well, I think part of it's subtle because this is a race that people die.
Yes.
Yes.
And she
And
doesn't,
he's saying,
she's honestly saying she does not want to be the cause of his death.
I
Like,
can't
I
be this
don't
person.
do
I don't
this
want
for
to,
you.
your death, you losing core, any of that. And he's like, it's too late. Like, you
too
are
late.
already important to me.
Yes. And that's a
Which to
huge
me
admission.
is bigger than saying I love you to someone
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
at this point. And I think that's what gets us, that we're just like, wow.
And it's so like,
So subtle.
it's super
So
subtle
subtle.
and it's super honest. And he's in a spot where he's uncomfortable, but he's willing to be uncomfortable for her. And he's willing to be honest with her, which is not necessarily his default setting. So
Yeah.
it goes to like show how quickly these two have kind of like been entwined.
Yeah.
You know, I think when you said honest, I think he's always honest, but I think vulnerable. He's letting himself be
Very
vulnerable here.
Yes.
You know, that I don't think I don't, because if you say he's being honest, I think he's always an honest person.
Right.
But
Well, I think,
not
and in this case,
exposing himself, you
Yeah.
know.
This is one of the few moments where it isn't explicit that he takes a beat before he speaks.
Yes.
No, he just
answers.
says it.
Yes. Like
It's almost like Puck has to take a beat after that. Like she's like, oh,
She's like,
whoa,
oh shit.
Yeah.
not expecting that one. Oh
not what I
shit, you
thought
just
you were
said
going
that.
Yes. And then this quote always, like when I think about the relationship between the two of them, like this is obviously like the quote. But then I immediately always think about the horseback riding scene on the cliffs where they ride together. And it's like, like,
and the fact is, like, she's not scared of core. You know, she's just ballsy, and she's just willing to get up there and just have a hell of a time. And
and I kind of love that Core doesn't seem to be. He's not aggressive toward Dove. Like,
no,
you see where that's going, because he even says, Sean even says at one point, well, sometimes mares are mares and sometimes mares are meals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Dove is just a mare to him.
Dove is just,
because you want in your head, you want them to like live together and like,
and that's that connection between
horse
Dove and rider
Core to be there together and be like happy and be like, oh, he doesn't want to eat her, like
right. He's accepted
her
her
as
as part of the herd.
He's part of the herd. He's gonna protect her.
Yes.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay.
All right. Let's move
on to
on.
The food and
a November cake. They sound delicious.
So I was thinking about making them over Thanksgiving break and like live streaming it.
Well, so in this new edition, Maggie has included her recipe.
Oh my gosh.
I have that version?
It's Maggie's recipe. I've gone online and gotten it before, but
this
is
I have
Maggie's.
it too.
Do you? Yeah. In the new, it's Maggie's recipe. So I will take a picture and send it to you, Ma, because
I ain't making
sounds amazing.
Kit can do that, but
so anyway, let's talk about all of the food in this, because it goes from like horrendously boring to amazingly delicious.
Yeah, and I think that's like the whole point at the beginning is like, you don't have any food.
No.
She is like stretching it, and she is doing her fucking best.
Yes. The apple cake.
Yeah.
I assume she probably does it with one apple.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was pretty dry and kind of sad.
More something to sit in your stomach than anything with nutritional value.
Yep. And I feel like the same with like the mint tea is like, is it like that's supposed to make you feel full, but you're not full?
Yep. Mint
but
tea is just, mint tea's cheap. You can find it. I mean, if you find spearmint anywhere, you can just make it into tea, you know? So.
Yep.
I kind of want a recipe for the cinnamon twists as well.
Me too.
I don't remember the cinnamon twists. Were they from
towards the end when
is it at
George
the
Holly
festival?
gives them money.
Okay.
Finn buys a whole bunch of cinnamon twists, and I'm like, ooh,
that sounds
delicious too.
I just always imagine Finn like just ferreting away every sweet he can get.
That's right. Remember when he comes up with all that money because he bet on
Yes. And he has all these November cakes and he sold the Morris, and he's like, where'd you get that money? He's like, I sold the Morris.
And I bought myself snacks.
Okay.
Same, dude. Like, I feel I love that.
The tea with butter and salt, that's just disgusting.
He wants to try it because I'm super curious. But all I can picture is the oil floating on top.
I know.
You know, like
Okay, so I have a confession. I put salt on ice cream, okay?
Okay.
Because I like salty sweet.
Yeah.
And
And it makes it sweeter.
yes, so
Yeah.
I put salt on ice cream, but I would not put salt in tea. There is no way on God's green earth I would put salt in tea or butter.
Well, there's no sweetness there. He literally just puts butter, which is salt, and salt.
Yes. Yes.
And I just think you have like that film of melted
That
butter
grease
on
on
it.
top. I know.
Ugh, that's
That's
just
how I always
disgusting.
picture it. Those like oil bubbles on
Yes.
top. Just
Now I'm
like,
just like Googling it. Apparently it's a thing.
really?
It's an ancient tradition.
Which very presumptuous of Malvern too. Like I could see him
Yeah.
being like, I'm an asshole, so I'm gonna drink asshole tea.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Mint tea I love.
According
I
to
drink
this
mint tea a
website,
lot
you
'cause it's my
like
favorite.
it's butter tea's origins are in Tibet.
Butter tea.
And this lady says
Wasn't there something popular recently, like rocket coffee or something, where you put butter in
bullet
coffee?
coffee.
Ooh.
Bullet coffee, that's what it is.
Bullet coffee.
Really?
I
Yes.
only know that because this website said that. But
I
this
saw,
lady,
I've seen
like,
it mentioned
she-
somewhere.
Hold on, she has like 700 stories that go into just tell me how to make the goddamn tea.
I mean, is it as simple as putting butter and salt in it, or is
Well,
it
no,
like,
it sounds like she like blends it. Like, do you know what
Okay.
I mean? Like hold on.
I don't think Puck has a blender.
Tea. No, but like I think that's this. Okay, so strain it, like make the tea. Strain it, add butter and sea salt, and then you blend it or pulse it for like 30 seconds because then it creates a foam. So then you don't get that oil like
which
rising
he
to the top.
definitely doesn't do.
Right. So this is not, but it is apparently a thing.
According
Gross.
to what is it, Gemini, that's on Google?
Yeah.
It is a savory, high-calorie drink crucial for providing energy, warmth, and
Okay.
hydration in cold, high-altitude climates.
Well, that explains it then.
So it's often in the Himalayan regions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you need high calorie, like
Yeah,
it makes
that's what I
sense for
mean,
them.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Weird.
Potatoes.
I like
know.
potatoes.
I know. They have the soup when they're waiting in the shed. When they're having
Yeah.
the picnic outside, they're eating potatoes. They call it soup, but then she later says potatoes and broth.
Yeah.
Same thing.
They
I
eat
feel
very
like
simply. Yeah, the potatoes and
very
broth.
simply.
The beans with beans.
With beans
Sometimes
and
with
beans.
bacon. Most of the time
Yeah.
with just beans and beans.
Yeah.
I will
And more
take the
beans.
beans without the pig in it.
I love that. Minus the
Don't
pig.
want either.
I have a sign in my kitchen that says bacon makes everything taste better. And one of them there says bacon is the duct tape of the kitchen.
I hate
Didn't I send you? I
bacon.
sent you a sign that said bacon aficionado, didn't I?
Yes.
Like forever ago.
Where do I have that?
Forever ago.
Okay, so
When
like
you
way
published one of your books, I was like, Sarah.
Yes,
it was like
I
a
have
name
it.
tag, like Sarah.
Yes, I still have that.
Author, teacher, bacon aficionado.
Bacon aficionado.
Yeah.
See, way back when I
Yeah.
was in college the first time, I was very hungover, and one of my roommates was cooking bacon, and the smell was
Oh, that would
ugh.
not be.
Yeah, so it's like a
bacon.
core
You're
memory
hungover?
there.
No.
Yes, no.
It's
I
not
don't
my
drink
jam.
gin because of college, and bacon. Nobody was allowed to cook bacon in my household for many, many, many years.
Thanks.
Ugh.
Yeah, not a fan of bacon.
No.
Ryan likes it, so
I like this-
it is
yeah.
in the house a lot, but
Okay,
know.
chicken,
And then we have
bread.
the chicken, the bread, Sean's bread.
Bread.
is
Yeah,
loaf.
the bread. Yeah.
And then the lamb stew. They have lamb stew when Gabe comes and gets them, and they go over to Grattan's for the
Yeah.
night during the storm.
Yeah.
So even like, I mean, food in general, even though they talk about Grattan's seem to have more money and they're the butcher, so they
Yeah.
have more.
And the
it's
lamb
still very
stew makes-
simple food. Very
Yeah.
simple food.
lamb stew makes me think of Ireland more than anything else too.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
So
The potatoes and broth make me think of Ireland.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
Let's just throw some potatoes with a little bit of seasoning and call it soup.
All in a day.
Yeah.
okay, we already talked about Thisbe a little bit, but
Yes.
the beach, the Malverns, Puck's house.
But the place is on Thisbe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think Thisbe's like a character in and of itself. Like,
The beach is a character. I mean, the
Mhm.
beach and the
Yes.
sea are definitely.
yeah,
I mean, as horse people, how do you feel about killer horses?
love it.
Okay.
I'm
I love
intrigued.
everything about like I want to
Super
go
intrigued.
see it. I want to
Yeah.
I'm all in. on
I want the
killer water
pictures.
horses.
I want to be that person that's like Sean that I can train a killer horse,
Yeah,
and they
like
won't eat me.
I wanna know how you tie the red ribbons in their hair. I wanna understand the bell system. Like, because I think there's something, like, as a horse person, like, we've all had that experience with, like, not an actual killer horse, but a horse that, like,
Felt like they were gonna kill
wants
us.
wants to maybe murder you, and you're like, the idea that and I hate the concept of breaking a horse. I
Yeah,
hate it. So the idea that someone like Sean, and by extension, someone like us, could build a relationship with a horse, that those things are not necessary,
right.
and
Okay.
that you can
You don't need the
you
magic.
you
The
don't.
magic he whispers to her
Yes.
instead.
And
Yeah,
it's not necessarily magic, it's who Sean intrinsically
right.
is. And because we're horse people, like, that could be us. Like, we could a killer water horse who wants to murder everyone could come out of the ocean and be ours.
I totally had dreams as a child, as every
Oh,
horse girl does.
yes.
How many times did we dream that some random loose horse was
God,
gonna walk
yes.
into our yard and
That was gonna be
magically
our
become our own?
horse.
Like
Yes.
loose horse happened all the time apparently in my
Yes.
head because I was just gonna be there and it was gonna walk right up to me and it was gonna be magical.
The idea of that, like, you just see the horse and you're like, well, that's mine. Like, that's coming with me. Is like every horse girl's dream, that you just, like, find your horse and it works out and you can take them home.
I wanna see what the stables look like
Yes, like, I have a vision in my mind, but I don't
because they
know,
talk
like.
about how the pillars are like carvings,
Yeah.
so it's old and how it
Yes.
clearly was something that where water horses were in for a while.
Yes.
Before Malvern brought us thoroughbred. It's kinda that old thing, like, I like to see the old
Yes.
part of it, but
It kinda reminds me, how do I wanna put it? Like the marriage of the old and the new, like, there's something
yeah,
more, like, ancient about this farm, but what, what upgrades or, like, updates or, like, because he
right,
wants to be, like, a prestigious premier
right,
place, and I don't know that he necessarily buys into the magic, and that's one thing that I'd put in the plot points, like, how we train horses, like,
yeah,
Sean buys into, like, kind of the supernatural mythology of it in terms of, like,
mhm,
we're tying the strings, the bells, the whispering in the ear,
right, right,
and I don't think Melvern necessarily does. He strikes me as much more of a, like, we're gonna break the horse kind of a situation. So in my mind, I'm always trying to, like, reconcile, like, this very ancient training area or
yeah,
boarding facility or stables or however you want to put it with what Malvern wishes it was, like what he
yeah,
wants other people to see. Because he's
and the
bringing in
stone and everything,
investors
and
and,
yeah,
like, whatever.
yeah, and then I mean, we talked a little bit about the house, Puck's house. The 3 things I didn't write on here the butcher, but really you hear about the bakery,
Yeah.
Fathom& and Sons, and the butcher, and I was thinking the butcher is almost like a bar. Like,
Yeah.
people come to
Like a
hang out and gossip at the
tavern-ish
butcher.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you write down your name if you're gonna ride in Scorpio races,
Yes.
which I think
And
is
I
kinda
love, there's a quote, there are moments that you'll remember for the rest of your
oh,
life,
yeah.
and there are moments that you think you'll remember for the rest of your life. And it's not often that they turn out to be the same. But when Peg Grattan turns around and chalks my name on the list, white on black, I know without a doubt that's an image I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I to me, it felt like Grattan's becomes this, like,
Yeah.
very, it's like a community space that everyone goes to and everyone knows and everyone's welcome at. But it's also this place where you almost have to pass judgment.
Yeah.
Like, are you worthy? And
So, I was looking through Goodreads, like, reviews on this book because I was curious, and I
yes.
hope she's listening because I want her to answer. Our friend Jen, who lives in the UK,
Yeah.
Yes.
one of her old I swear I think it was her. I hope it is, but Jen, I think she listens to us. She said one of the things she didn't like about the book was the name Grattan.
Really?
That it
Interesting.
sounded too I'm trying to think how she worded it. It sounded too like it interrupted the flow, and it
Because
makes me
everything's very
curious.
lyrical,
It
if
makes
that's
me curious
intentional.
because she's British.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
"Jen, can you explain this? Because 'Cause I'm super intrigued by it. Like, is it yeah, like, because everything's lyrical and then you have Grattan.
Yeah.
Is it just a weird or is it a name that means something else in
Maybe.
the
It
Isles?
could
Oh,
be.
You
maybe.
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
She just felt it kind of interrupted, and I was like, "That's a
Because
really
let's face
interesting
it,
concept."
Puck is not exactly lyrical, you know?
But Puck
Right.
makes me think of Shakespeare and Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's not really a lyrical
It's
sounding.
not, yeah.
It's not like Ophelia is like kind of
Not
lyrical sounding.
many main love interests are named
Yeah.
Puck.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
Okay.
well, I suppose that's probably gonna do it for us, or we'll make it do it for us
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
otherwise we'll be here
Otherwise we'll be
forever.
here forever. I could talk about this book forever.
Hit us up in our DMs and we
Forever.
will continue to talk about
If
it.
you're like, part
Lots more
2.
quotes that I did not even mention that I still
And
love,
we
but
fully just like jumped the shark on the plot points. We got like halfway through and we're like, that's enough of that.
but all the quotes, like, I mean, it related to it. So,
Yes. And no, 100% it did.
all right.
One of my plot points, Mutt and how bad he sucks.
Oh,
We could
yes.
go in at length on that. But yes.
So how about our final thoughts? Final thoughts on this?
I did not even write anything down for this because I feel like you already know. Like if you have listened to this entire podcast, you know what my final thoughts are. I love this book. I think it's, as a librarian, you get asked all the time, what's your favorite book? Like kids ask you, you go to professional development and conferences and they're like, share your favorite book. And almost 100% people will be like, well, that's like picking your favorite child. I could never pick my favorite book. It depends. And I'm like, Scorpio Races.
Scorpio
Next,
Races.
like full stop. Like I don't even like question it. Like that, this is my favorite book.
The one book to take to a deserted island? Scorpio Races.
Scorpio
End of
Races.
story.
Like that's it. But I feel like it's a question that gets asked a lot, and probably they get annoyed with me because I answer the same way every single time. Of what is when you're a book person, especially when you're a librarian and it's your job, because people love that as like an icebreaker. Like everyone share your favorite book, and everyone's like, I just don't know. Like blah 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 blah. Here's what I read. Nope, Scorpio Races.
Nope,
Everybody
Scorpio
go read
Races.
it. Ask your librarian. Go find it.
If it's not in your library, it needs to be.
Request it. Use whatever form they have on the website because it's so good. So that's my final thought is this is my favorite book.
Some people, when I say Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and they're like, Maggie Stiefvater, and then I have to point out like Raven Boys cycle, and they're like, oh. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this was before Raven Boys.
Yes.
It's really good. Like,
I feel
you
like
still should read it.
Even not that like we're gonna like bow to authors being like what is their favorite book, but Maggie has said this is her favorite book too.
Yeah, this is like a passion project.
You can like feel it. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
I say I feel like this book will continue to be absolute perfection for me on so many levels. The writing I think is absolutely beautiful. I get lost in her sentences sometimes. I literally have to stop and reread it. Obviously the deep relationship with horses, but also with the island. I'm with Marianne on. I love that Celtic connection. It feels so Irish and Scottish to me, and I love that.
And I don't
the subtle romance of Sean and Puck.
That's the part
it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And Thisbe feels so real and alive to me. Like I desperately want it to be real. One of the things I got with my Owl Crate book thing is a Thisbe poster. Like a Thisbe,
really?
I think it's one of Maggie's drawings, and it's like a Thisbe tourist poster. And I'm like, I need to frame this and hang this.
Yeah.
Like, because
I want
it's amazing.
to go there. Yeah.
So that's part of why I tell everyone that I love it. I just think there's so many levels to it that are so beautiful that it's a wonderful novel to me. How about you, Mas?
I just always have loved Maggie's writing, and I remember reading Shiver and crying at it. And like a friend of mine was like, "I can't believe you cried at a book about was it
teenage wolves."
But her writing is just always so beautiful, and I really do think that this book really showcases it. And listening to it and hearing the characters, hearing the narrators really bring it to life was just really so enjoyable for me. So it just brought back so many memories and so many feelings, and it was good.
Maggie, if you're listening,
we love you.
We love you. You need to email us back. We've all met you, I promise.
Yeah,
we're not crazy stalkers.
Not in a weird way.
I have had long conversations at book signings with Maggie, but it's just been like 10 years. So anyway, but okay. So probably time for us to reveal our featured book for December.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a few clues. I'm so excited. It's holiday season.
Yes. So this is a fun one.
I know, I'm so excited. Clue number 1. She hates his favorite films, but he can't get through the season without him. But somewhere between the popcorn and the heartbreak, something shifts.
Clue number 2. 2 grieving hearts, 2 meddling moms, and 1 Christmas movie marathon that wasn't supposed to mean anything until it does.
And clue number 3. They promised it was just a holiday movie marathon. So why does it feel like a second chance? Ooh. All right.
Our episode will go live on December 16th. I guess we have to say what the book is, huh?
We have to announce what the book is.
We do.
Type it in there.
We didn't. I was like, I feel like something's missing in that.
And I'll say that because
let's do it. We'll do a drum roll first.
Okay.
What is it, Marianne?
Book is Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon by Matthew Norman.
And there it is.
One thing that was not mentioned in our clues, and this is what I felt about reading any others of his books, is that it's a love letter to Baltimore, of all places. Baltimore is not usually a city that gets a lot of love, but definitely gets a lot of love in his books.
Yes.
So the episode will go live on December 16th. So tune in on all your favorite streaming services.
And what I'm excited about for this book, because I have not read it yet, but Marianne told us that every single chapter is titled after a holiday movie.
Yes.
And I love a movie. So this episode will be talking about the book and some of our favorite holiday movies.
And
I am one of those crazy Hallmark movie people that
love.
Thanksgiving will happen and Hallmark will just be on 24/7 in my house.
I talked at length today at work about how I wanted to own a Christmas tree farm, like holiday Hallmark movie style. I was like, it just seems like such a great job because everybody's happy to be there and like you're growing trees and who doesn't love a Christmas tree?
I got 2 book recommendations for you when we have a chance. So yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, so let's finish this.
Anyways.
All right.
That is it for now. Thank you to everyone for joining us as we talked all about the Scorpio races.
If you enjoyed this episode, head to our profile, check out the other books we've featured so far, things like Twilight, 13th Child, Lessons in Chemistry, and so many more. And if you're looking for book recommendations each month, we also share what books we've read across every genre. If you've been listening to any of our episodes, you know that we literally will read anything.
Especially Kit.
I'll read anything. If you have any recommendations, let me know.
And don't forget to follow our socials, subscribe to the podcast, and please leave us a review. We want to know what you think.
And to reiterate the point I just made, if there's a book you would like us to feature or read and talk about on the podcast, hit us up in the comments, send us a message, because we can't possibly know every good book that's out there. So let us know what your favorites are.
So until next time, keep reading,
keep exploring,
and don't forget to pack the snacks.
Yay! Go make some November cakes.
Go make November cakes. I feel like at the end of episode, I want like just a... Like every time I say it, and don't forget to pack the snacks. Yay! Yay! We made it to the end. Yay!